When the exploration vessel Endeavour Dawn slipped out of folded space, its crew had no idea they had just crossed into the heart of the Galactic Empire. The jump had been a simple test, meant to push the limits of human navigation through newly charted sectors. Instead, it opened a window into a region that had never heard of Earth, yet trembled under its own oppressive order. The ship's sensors were the first to notice it. Massive energy signatures filled the void ahead, hundreds of colossal starships, each bristling with weapon arrays and shield networks. They formed an elegant yet intimidating lattice around a gleaming planet, a world of silver continents and golden orbital rings. On the command deck, the crew stared in silence. For a moment, no one spoke. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and undeniably lost. Yet there was something else in the air, something unshaken. Captain Reed leaned forward. Well, that's new. He didn't shout. He didn't panic. He didn't even sound surprised. The crew shared glances, a quiet calm settling over them like practiced routine. After all, humanity had already survived far worse than a fleet of alien ships. Open hailing frequencies, he said. The communications officer nodded, tapping the console. Signal broadcasted. Standard galactic frequencies, Static answered. Then a deep, resonant voice spoke through the channel, layered with translation filters. Unknown vessel, you have violated restricted space of the Imperial core. Power down your systems and prepare for boarding. The tone carried the kind of arrogance only a civilization that ruled thousands of worlds could possess. It expected fear, submission, surrender. What it received instead was mild curiosity. The navigator smirked. Sounds like they think we're smugglers. Or pirates, the engineer added. Cute. Captain Reed simply crossed his arms. Tell them we're explorers from Earth, accidentally dropped in. No harm intended. The message went out. The reply came faster than expected. Earth? Unrecognized. You will comply with Imperial protocol. Outside, a formation of sleek ships broke from the fleet and began their approach. Each one dwarfed Endeavour Dawn, shimmering with energy shields strong enough to vaporize a mountain. The humans watched their advance with quiet calculation, scanning every heat signature and electromagnetic pulse. The ship's tactical officer, a woman with years of deep space combat behind her, ran simulations on the side display. If they open fire, we won't last long in a straight fight, but I can disrupt their targeting sensors with a burst. Reed nodded. Do it only if they fire first. No need to start a galactic war on our first day. Then he turned toward the viewport. The alien ships closed in, majestic yet menacing. Their hulls glowed with strange sigils, their thrusters like blue suns. But Reed's mind didn't race with fear. Instead, he thought back to the ruins of old Earth wars, the silent deserts of Mars, the charred cities after the orbital crisis, the years when humanity fought itself and still stood tall. Compared to those times, this was almost peaceful. Inside the lead alien cruiser, the Imperial Admiral watched the lone human ship with disdain. His species had conquered countless worlds, crushed rebellions, enslaved entire systems. No one had ever dared to speak calmly in the face of the Empire's might. Yet these humans radiated no panic. Their faces showed curiosity, not terror. Their ship was small, old-fashioned, almost primitive. But their composure unsettled him. Admiral, said one of his officers, their weapons are offline, but they continue to transmit peaceful intent. Peaceful? The Admiral's lip curled. They enter Imperial territory without permission. Peace means nothing. He turned toward the display. Prepare to board them. I want to see these humans myself. On the Endeavour Dawn, sensors flashed. Multiple vessels moving in. Tractor beams activating. Reed sighed. All right then. Let's make sure they regret being rude. The ship shuddered as beams of energy latched onto it, dragging it toward the flagship. Inside the hold, Marines armed with pulse rifles took position near the airlock. No one panicked. They had done this before. First contact gone wrong, pirates on the frontier, unknown hostiles boarding. Humanity had learned long ago that fear never helped. The airlock opened with a hiss and armored figures stepped through. Their armor gleamed like molten metal, faces hidden behind sharp helmets. They moved with mechanical precision. Behind them walked the Admiral, taller than most humans, draped in ceremonial robes. His gaze swept across the human crew like a predator assessing prey. Who commands this vessel? He demanded. Reed stepped forward. I do. Captain Reed, United Earth Expeditionary Command. The Admiral frowned. You stand before the Galactic Empire. Your incursion is punishable by seizure of your vessel and the imprisonment of your crew. Reed tilted his head slightly. That seems excessive. We made a navigational error. You could just tell us to leave. The alien's eyes narrowed. He wasn't used to Defiance spoken so casually. You do not give conditions to the Empire. Then maybe you should reconsider your diplomacy, Reed said. The room went still. The Marines on both sides tightened grips on their weapons. But the human crew remained steady. The Admiral studied Reed's expression. There was no trembling, no visible fear. Only calm defiance, the kind born from centuries of hardship. These were not the weak primitives he expected. These were beings who had seen extinction and spat in its face. Finally he said, "You will come with me. The Emperor will decide your fate." The humans exchanged glances. Reed nodded once. "Fine. Lead the way." They were escorted onto the alien flagship, through vast corridors lined with polished silver and glowing symbols. The scale of the ship was breathtaking. Massive halls, intricate designs, gravity fields that shifted subtly with every step. Yet the humans walked through it as if touring an old museum. Crew members from the Empire watched them with disgust, amusement, even pity. To them, these newcomers were crude, underdeveloped, reckless. But whispers began to spread as more aliens noticed something strange, their body language. The humans weren't afraid. They analyzed everything, memorizing layouts, counting guards, scanning energy conduits. They walked as soldiers would through potential battlefields. Inside the throne chamber, the Emperor awaited. His presence radiated power, augmented by ancient technology that shimmered like a living storm around him. "Who are you to trespass in my domain?" the Emperor demanded. Reed bowed slightly. "Explorers from Earth, we didn't intend intrusion." The Emperor's laughter echoed across the chamber. "Explorers? In a vessel so small and fragile? You are fortunate I do not vaporize you where you stand." Reed smiled faintly. "With all due respect, we've survived worse." The Emperor leaned forward. "Worse than the Empire?" Reed's voice stayed calm. "We've faced wars that burned our own skies. We've buried continents and rebuilt them. We've lost billions and still refused to die. So yes, worse." The hall fell silent. The arrogance that usually followed such defiance never came. The Emperor studied them, perhaps seeing for the first time the depth behind their simplicity. There was something ancient in their eyes, something forged in pain and perseverance. "Your world must be one of chaos," he said slowly. Reed nodded. "It was. But we learned, we united. We explored not because it was safe, but because we got tired of waiting for someone else to tell us what was possible." For the first time, the Emperor hesitated. In his long reign, he had encountered many species. Ambitious traders, frightened refugees, cunning warlords, but never one that spoke of its own scars with pride. He gestured toward the holographic display hovering above the throne. It showed the vast map of the Empire, thousands of systems under one banner. You stand in the center of galactic civilization. You are surrounded by power beyond comprehension. Why should I not take your world and add it to my dominion? Reed looked at the map, then at the Emperor. "Because you'd never win. You could destroy our ships, but not our will. You'd face a people who don't know how to surrender." The Emperor's advisors whispered among themselves. Some called for immediate punishment, others for study. Yet the Emperor stayed silent, his eyes fixed on the humans. "Tell me," he said at last, "if you are so resilient, what drives you to wander into the stars?" Reed glanced at his crew. Hope, curiosity, and a bit of stubbornness. "We never wanted to rule others. We just wanted to see what's out there. But if someone threatens us, we remember very quickly how to fight back." The Emperor leaned back, his gaze unreadable. Then he spoke softly. "Perhaps the galaxy has grown too complacent." He waved a hand. "Release them. Let them leave." The Admiral beside him turned in disbelief. "Your Majesty, they violated..." "Enough," the Emperor said. "They have seen worse, and I would not make them see us as worse still." Moments later, Endeavor Dawn was escorted back to the edge of Imperial space. The alien ships kept their distance, and though scanners recorded every signal, none interfered. The humans prepared for another fold jump, systems humming quietly. As the stars stretched into streaks, the navigator turned to the captain. "You think they'll come looking for us?" Reed shrugged. "Probably. Empires always do, but they'll think twice before underestimating humanity again." He looked out the viewport, where the shimmer of the Empire faded into darkness. "They rule the galaxy with fear, We've learned to live without it." For a moment, no one spoke. The hum of the ship filled the silence, a steady, determined sound. Humanity had stepped into a galaxy of giants, and instead of kneeling, they had walked away.